I wanted to talk about addictions. So, when we look at our own addictions or our own wants, needs, desires, and things that basically create a repetitive cycle or pattern. Now, anything can be an addiction, right? Food's an addiction, work's an addiction, money's an addiction, sex is an addiction. It doesn't really have to be a substance such as alcohol or drugs, but when you really get into the hardcore stuff, and even when I deal with clients because I do addiction counseling and helping and assisting people with, even sex addictions, relationship addiction. What we're looking at here is that it's obviously a pacifier. We're chasing happy, but we're looking for something outside of ourselves to soothe the pain that we've been holding. Now, it could be the pain from when you were a little boy or a little girl that we still haven't really looked at. And even though if we're adults, we start to look at the reward, right? And so a lot of times we can be emotionally eating, emotionally drinking, and you can be a functional alcoholic, you can be a functional weed smoker, just to maintain balance. But you're going outside of yourself or creating things that you need to maintain balance within the realm of the dimension of the reality that we're in. And a lot of things are triggers, right? So you get into watching a lot of things on the news, and you're getting a lot of information, with the social media and the TikToks and the videos and the YouTubes and all that other jazz. It can be overwhelming because the war is in the heavens, the head, the temple. Who do you give your mind share to? Who are you listening to on a day-to-day basis? When you really look at the teachings out there, is it the angel on the shoulder or the demon? Is it the white wolf or the dark wolf? Who is actually taking over, and who do you give rent to in your mind? Who has access to maneuver this body, mind, meat suit character of who you think you are, right? So when you really start to disidentify with the body, mind, meat suit avatar, such as the character of, I'll give you like my own example, like the Jasontroy, and I start to navigate more from the higher self or the higher aspect that has projected itself into the lower realms or the lower aspect to have an experience separate from self, through the mind in time. So if you're able to break that cycle, and that's why a lot of these teachings, they'll focus on meditation, mindfulness, different types of techniques to slow down the mind. Now, you're never really going to get the mind to stop. This place runs on thought, right? That's why everybody's running around with mind phones, right? Eat this, look like this, act like this. And so if you're able to control the beast, which is the body, right? When that gets into food and water and clean thought, you're able to control the frequencies that are interacting with you in order for you to see clearly or feel clearly and to maintain balance in the chaos, because this place does run on chaos. Like even when you look at nature, there's a lot of, like, when people talk about, like, you get into like tropical storms or like the natural phenomenon that happens, like we think as humans that we actually have control, and you really don't. And I even say to a lot of friends and clients and students that you don't have free will and choice. You get to choose, between a Coke and a Pepsi. That's basically it. There's a lot of stuff that has actually been, in place on purpose for those choices to actually be almost forced. And then when you look at what's happening on the global scale, and then you get into the big events and the pandemics and so on and so forth, when we look at a lot of things that become more restrictive. So you do have a truth ache inside of you that you can sense and feel that something's off or something is not really balanced. And so I call that your internal teacher, right? Your intuition, the truth ache, and listening to the compass inside of you. And we're inherently, even when we were born, even with me with my 4 kids, I even tell my children is that what is right. There is that truth barometer. You came in with nothing, and you came in with that guidance system already. And as you get older, a lot of things are programming the mind to basically come off balance or chase this or get this or take this or get that and so on and so forth. It's always a wants, needs, desires, and then it pulls into addiction. So when we get into the hardcore addictions, and I would never wish on a soul contract, you get into the synthetic stuff and the coke and the crack and the fentanyl and all this other stuff, that is a very strong problem on this planet where it actually is becoming almost like a pandemic. I do feel that because with all the I guess interactions I've had with parents and kids and it's a very, very strong thing to overcome. And the thing that I try and help and assist even parents that are struggling with their own kids, because we want the best for our kids, is that even if they're going through a hardcore addiction with substance and so on and so forth, but the plane, the analogy I like to give is that a plane is still crashing and they just jump from the front seat to the back seat. Nobody really quits or gets rid of an addiction. They just swap it out with something else. So instead of smoking crack, people start smoking weed, or they just wean it down. And then when there's the next cycle or the next trigger, they just revert back to the same patterns of behaviors, because they're soothing or pacifying to basically numb themselves out, so they just don't want to feel or go through the pain of dealing with whatever they've put on their soul contract. So when we're looking at overcoming, I'm not trying to dumb down that the addiction chemical component is there. Yes, that is a very strong thing, and you can meditate till you're blue in the face. That is not going to get rid of a dependency based on chemicals. And then you got to get into a formula, which is more or less like a detoxing scenario, right? Where you detox the body, and then you got to detox the mind, and then you got to detox, the frequencies that you're interacting with, in order for you or for the person to start to listen to that angel on their shoulder, right? So you can talk to somebody till they're blue in the face, but you're really dealing with the illness of the addiction, alcohol or a drug, and so having that support system. But at the end of the day, it is an inside job, and the choices will be made, that I've noticed with anybody with big hardcore choices, is either in a state of desperation or inspiration. And so typically a lot of times when people come to me, they are already at the state of desperation, and sitting with a reader or an addiction counselor is never going to fix your life. Healing comes based on you can talk to a psychologist or an addiction counselor till you're blue in the face. It's an inside job until you choose, and you can no longer stand the situation that you're in, that you have to now become inspired, and then you start to look at different goals. And it is a slow-moving wheel. This is not something that you're going to bang out, or anybody's going to bang out in 1 or 2 sessions. This is like a long-term, process. It's not an event. And so I just figured I'd give this a little bit of a post here, that you do have people around you. You do have people on the other side too as well. And so if you're hitting in that state of desperation, just try and tune into yourself to call out, and you will get those answers. You will get the guidance that you're looking for, and it's always going to get better. And there's never really the end. You have a soul purpose. You have a reason for your incarnation. And what is that reason? And even the bad stuff, or the stuff that triggers us, and the toxic stuff and the addiction stuff, even if you put that on your soul contract, it is actually there to help and assist for your soul to grow. The things that hurt us the most help our souls grow the most. So I hope that was helpful.